Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me in yet another episode of AI Climbing with Sheikh. And today I will be giving you a sort of journey and demo of Telco APIs. And the use case I have selected is mainly with tourism. To be very specific, is the AI tourism with Telco APIs. And in this sharing, I have actually written a detailed step-by-step guide on Medium, and you can see the link and try to go through it. But the background of this topic is right that there had been a lot of effort from the last decade, and to be very specific, from 3GPP release 15 there had been a continuous effort how to make those networks consumable via APIs. And in the GPP 15, there had been a talk in terms of the CAPIF and NEV and some of the early work, right? And but how I want to really structure it into three parts. First is to share how the overlay architecture, right, which in this case refers to the NEF, network exposure functions, which enables to integrate your network using an APIs. And the whole idea is that there becomes one single umbrella layer of NEF that will integrate and interwork via the APIs towards the developer ecosystem. And this diagram explains the whole architecture quite clearly. And as you can see below are all of the AMF and SMF and NWDAP and all of the other network functions, right? Actually, there are almost 20 or a bit more in the 5G network. The NEF then takes all of those and available them as an APIs. And apart from this, there is an application framework as well. And the whole notion of application framework is that ultimately they becomes easy and readily to consume for the developer standpoint. Imagine that you are a edge application developer and writing the ultimately the server side or a client side, and then you expect that ultimately you get all of those APIs on an application layer, right? So ultimately the AF provides that abstraction layer. And going a bit into this, as you can see, in terms of northbound APIs, there had been a lot of features and capabilities starting from the location services to monitoring, traffic routing, quality on demand, and the network analytics. And the whole notion is that you can integrate and consume all of those capabilities by the network. And in terms of application, again, you can target specific use cases like the Mac IoT applications or V2X and other general location services. Going a bit more, there had been a lot of effort in the 5G and 5G enhanced, and as you can see that especially on the IoT and ML AI architecture, there has been a systematic effort to make those capabilities available by the network. And this is a recent summary from ITSI, and I want to specifically call out the CAPIF architecture and the enhancements that are coming in CAPIF. And the whole notion of CAPIF is the abstraction layer for the whole network, right? And apart from this, as you can see that there had been a lot of features and availability of the AI ML, right? So ultimately, if you are a developer writing an ML AI application, then those capabilities are available to you. These are a way where actually the network vendors like the Nokias and Ericssons or Samsungs, make their functions and provide those capabilities. The next piece is on the capif. Again, on capif is more like a superset for the NEF piece. And as you can see over here, right, ultimately the idea of capif is first of all, it becomes the landing point of integrations towards NEF, which then becomes the single point towards the broker and the AF ecosystem, right? But then when you will write an applications and you will want to program it, ultimately KPF provides a lot of management and other APIs. So as you know, NEF is primarily on the service API side, whereas when it comes to the management and rating and control, ultimately KPF provides the rest. So ultimately, the mixture of these two will help you to utilize and program all of the APIs. Now, as you can see, most of the big vendors, telco vendors are supporting it. So how you can actually use it and deploy it at scale. And as you can see, ultimately each vendor consume it in their way. And the idea is, can we build one framework, one platform, and which means same APIs in different networks and different countries. And Kamara is actually enabling that. And as you can see, what is Kamara? Consider it more like the network API project. It is governed by GSMA in the name of Open Gateway Project, whereas CNCF Linux Foundation, takes the APIs and other capabilities, what they call the Kamara project. And what's the notion? As you can see, the first piece is the abstraction. So, prime aim of Kamara is to make sure that developers can consume APIs. And what it means that abstraction from the network APIs to the service APIs is actually critical, right? And so all of the swagger and APIs and how the APIs will interact, everything is available over there. And then the next piece is the availability across all networks, countries, and markets. As you can see, Kamara is really enabling it at scale, and you can click on the link. It can take you the whole landing page, and you can browse and see how to become part of it. Each of the sub projects, as you can see, if you want to, for example, go to the device location, and it will explain you all of the details. And then there is an APIs, the swagger, the like YAMLs, all of those you can actually query and see how you can make it work. In terms of Kamara, how to use guide again for the specific APIs, right? I will highly encourage you to go through the GitHub of Kamara. And in the GitHub of Kamara, as you can see, there are different sets of APIs. The first is stable APIs, which have already been rolled out into the network, ready to consume. But then there are some updated APIs. Updated API doesn't mean it's new, right? But the thing is, we launched out APIs, but then someone enhanced it, and still it is in a phase where the updated version is not rolled out at scale. So actually, you can count both stable and updated APIs. They are equally good. But then there are a number of new APIs which you can try it out. There have been a lot of APIs of starting from the consumer side, rating, billing, device verification, SIN swap, then going to the network, billing, revenue, fraud, and then also on the interconnect and settlement side of the house. You can try it out. And then in the last MWC, actually, there were some very good business outcome use cases and showing the art of the possible. As you can see, Sony and DT showing how the quality on demand APIs, right, help you give the same performance even in the busy times, right? As an example, my son is always concerned about the internet speed, and if I tell him that if you implement the quality on demand APIs, we can lock it, right? Even there is a congestion, right? Ultimately, you can commit to the right gaming APIs to make it work. Then, similarly, Orange in France, and they have done some good work with Telefonica on the number verification and SIM swap APIs. Again, something very, very important for the digital ID, right? Because we all know normally digital ID customers either create their profiles on some government system or using their emails. Both of those means many silo platforms, and what we want to do, all of those IDs are verified against one physical ID, which in this becomes your ID in the telco network. Similarly, another demo done by Orange. In this case, it's mainly talking about the location ID, right? Like, for example, the two-person do a transaction, and we need to be sure that they are in close proximity, right? It's very important if you are doing some financial and property settlements, right? And similarly, there is a one demo done by Vodafone on the optimum bandwidth use. Again, the use case is on the video streaming, where many people try to use the video and chalk the network. So, how you can optimize and smartly manage those networks. And taking it to the next level, we try to build a demo of this for tourism, and I will be talking on some beta we have already done. For example, the phase one, where we emphasized on the cloud analytics, and the pain point what we understood is there are many yeah, traveling and tourism platforms, booking.com, airbnb.com, Uber, local transport. So pretty much, if you are a tourist going somewhere, you need to browse and go to each of the platforms. So similarly, all of those platforms are not well integrated, which actually means that you will lack the personalization, right? Perhaps you book an hotel in booking.com, but then you book a car or the attraction planning through another platform, and then the two are not succinctly capable to integrate and offer you the experience. And then the most important piece lacks real time data. As you all know, all of this platform AI comes from the overall platform view or the data and transactions, but it seldomly use the real-time APIs like the weather APIs, the population APIs, and most important, the transport APIs. For example, if there is a train outage or there is a storm coming, and these things are changing minute by minute, right? Airspeed and the weather, all of those needs to be integrated in real time, and over solution is really gives you the right persona, which means that you can build your own profile. Who are you, what are your interests, who will be traveling with you, and apply some very good methodologies to solve the problems, right? We believe that offering a solution like us, you can save at least 10% of your budgets and money during traveling, and at least 30% improvement in customer experience. And in terms of the our app demo, you can see it's just giving a very high level overview how the app looks like, what are the different persona. As you can see, create your activities, create your personas, and then ultimately it gives you the one itinerary that includes everything. And we are gonna do further customization by adding proactive suggestion, for example real-time notifications, Similarly, real-time adoptions, as an example, if you reach to your hotel late and you want to change your plan for the next day, you can interact it using Gen AI, and it can gives you the rest. And similarly, do the hyper personalization. And last piece, it can give the carbon emissions, right, during your travel, how much carbon footprint you will be consuming, and then how to optimize it. It's something really important. And I will not go deep, but there is a running demo of this app, and you can just go into this and click, and ultimately it will be giving you, exactly how it is, and it's available in my channel. So highly encouraged to go through it. And ultimately, the point I want to make here is Kamara is trying to become that single point landing point, integrating 3GPP, GSMA, and all of the other initiatives, including TMF. And that approach is definitely important to make these type of platforms flourish. And lastly, I want to focus on what next we are going to do for tourism industry. And as you can see, the notion is very clear, right? We will partner with the cloud platforms of choice or any apps, and the whole value prop is offer those Kamara APIs. Above layer is all about building the right MLAI applications and optimizing it, right? And the use cases which we target, the first one is the digital identity. As we all know, there had been a lot of frauds happening. And what about if using your SIM card, I verify before any of your transactions, right? So you no need to keep lot of logins and passwords and OTAs and all of those. Ultimately, your physical SIM card becomes your only identity. Other use case is geofencing. Again, for law enforcement and security, it is very, very important. And the whole idea is right, like, um, uh, for example, right, like you are a tourist visiting a particular area and you want to lock your transactions within that area and trigger a workflow if you go out, right? Maybe for activity planning, for security reasons. So you can use that. Then there is a proximity APIs again for the banks that becomes very important, right? If you are doing a property transactions or in general any financial transactions, signing contracts, and you want that the devices are in close proximity, right? So the Kamara APIs give you that capability. And then again, for the peer-to-peer or mobile payments, right? The idea is if someone steal your mobile and then put a SIM card, right? Still they have your banking app, and if we can crack your PIN, they can do the transaction. But what we are trying to do is secure all of those P2P transactions, making sure the number verification and sync swap APIs are done. Then we can target the device verification. Again, something very important from the banks and the other financial institutions. And going a big deep on the location verification, again it is very important. So there are a lot of delivery apps. Imagine that you hired a Uber, but the driver is very crazy and he never arrive, and later on he say I came but you were not at your position. How to pinpoint that the location of the driver is verified, like if I am a customer. So there are two problems. First is when I use Uber, sometimes my app location is not selected very, very accurately. It means driver reach there, but then he roam few minutes and call me, and then comes to the right point. So using the location APIs and location verification, we can solve that issue. And then in terms of overbilling and overrating, everything we can address very less people are aware of this, but then it is a billion-dollar economy if you can really, that is exactly how Uber becomes what Uber is today, because there is a lot of customer pain which we can optimize if we can implement it in the right way. Similarly, device roaming. Imagine you are a big businessman moving between Australia and Dubai on a frequent basis, and every time you reach UAE, you need to customize your language, your offers, and this is a, if you are busy, C-level executive, it's a big problem. And this is the thing we are planning to solve, that the device roaming status. Every time you move back and then there is a status change. So through the APIs, the application will know that now Mr. AZ is in Dubai and I need to give him some luxury sort of offers. And then when he is back home with his father, he needs to act sensibly. So there is a different offer. So device roaming station status is definitely that APIs. And the last piece which we are gonna attack is the track of the logistics. So imagine in Australia is a very big country and lot of cargo move between west and east and north and south for days. And normally there are some IoT sort of tracking, but then if you need to really make end-to-end supply chain work, right? You want to make sure when the trucks arrive within 5-10 kilometers, then the guys who are responsible for the store, they make the cleaning, and then you need to integrate it with the billing and ordering and everything. And that streamlining actually means billion-dollar economy in itself. And that is the, the final use case with our tourism which we are going to attack. So that is pretty much all, and I hope you have enjoyed and the way how progressive AI will crack the tourism industry market. I really want you to go through our demos and reach out on how we can help you in your AI journey. And most important, if you have any problem, any issue to discuss, how you can really make your solutions API friendly and ready for AI, reach us out and we definitely have someone to help you forward. Thank you very much for the call and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Have a nice day. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Till then, goodbye. Bye bye.